there's some explanation as to why the South African government has gone so off the rails. And it's that they've gotten a free pass for decades.
Yeah, that's right.
Because of this narrative. They could do and say whatever they want. They got no criticism or very little criticism or very careful criticism. And that's why I think they've gone so ballistic after the recent comments by Trump and people like Elon Musk and so.
Oh, have they? I'm sorry, I don't follow it that closely. Have they? Those comments were noticed in South Africa?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's the biggest story in South Africa at the moment.
Really? And what are they saying?
Well, they're saying that the organizations that I was involved with at the time have committed treason. That we've been charged for treason.
You've been charged with treason?
Yeah.
For what?
For speaking, well, among others, for me speaking with you about what's happening.
That's treason?
In South Africa. Yeah, because it's bad mouthing your country. That's the argument.
Damn.
So I don't know if it was this one of the opposition parties who.
I wanted to go to Cape Town for Christmas just on vacation. I didn't have time in the end, but
you'll have to put
probably
on shades.
Probably shouldn't go. Is that what you're saying?
No, you should come to South Africa. No, you should definitely come.
Funny.
I don't know if there's much will come from the treason charges, but that's certainly.
But you've been charged with treason.
Yeah, there were official complaints filed at the police. Yes.
What's the penalty for treason in South Africa?
It would be imprisonment. We don't have the death. We don't have the death penalty.
No, they just necklace you. It's informal.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm honestly, seriously, I'm more concerned if the question is about safety, about mob justice in South Africa than the actual government coming after you.
Of course. So what does that look like?
Well, I think you reported on this in 2021, I think, when there was this massive riots in South Africa. When they just...
In Durban.
And then
I remember that.
Yeah, it sort of spilled out to Gauteng, to Johannesburg to a lesser extent. And it's just people, it's almost like, smelling blood and becoming extremely violent so forth. And then people join in by the thousands.
I've seen that with my own eyes a couple of times. Yeah, it's really scary.
So a friend from Europe once asked me, are you not afraid that the government's going to come to your house and take your stuff? And my honest answer is not that much. I'm more concerned about a mob showing up at my house.
So then what do you do?
Well, if you are alone, you can't do anything. If you're a well-functioning, well-organized community, then the community, you can call people on the radio, you can get the community to take a stance. And I think that's one of the
So you don't get lynched?
Yes.
You got a lot of lynchings and stuff. I mean, that's, again, add it to the irony file. I mean, South Africa's like the world capital of lynching.
Yes.
Oh, I noticed. Yeah.
It's not so much white people who are targeted.
I'm aware. No, blacks.
Yeah. That certainly. It has happened in the previous dispensation. It's still happening to an extent, not as much as in the past, but people don't know that it's still happening.
To people accused of crimes. And
it's partly due to the fact that the police is absent.
Right.
So especially in townships, someone is a rapist and the police doesn't show up, doesn't do anything, and then the local community just deals with him. That type of thing happens in South Africa.
In a very brutal way.
Yes. Yeah, it does happen in a brutal way.
Yeah. I've noticed. Like pretty shocking, like almost like I wouldn't want to describe it.
Yeah. I mentioned the necklace murders before, so we have that. And it's the same with the xenophobic violence. It's very unfortunate. And if we had a well-functioning police service, maybe that would have helped, but we don't. So in South Africa, we can check the numbers. I'm pretty sure the private security sphere in South Africa is almost as big as private security in America, but America is much larger. Private security in South Africa is more than double the police and the army combined. If you add the police and the army up together and you multiply it by 2, private security is the amount of private security officers in South Africa or security guards is.
Do you have the right of self-defense, the right to defend yourself and your family in South Africa?
We do have the right to self-defense. We can own firearms, although it's not as easy as in America.
Yes.
But you can do that. And you can get arms, especially through a private security company. There's some room to make sure that you can protect yourself.
And does it work?
Yes.
So there's been a lot of talk about changes to the U.S. tax code, especially changes that affect cryptocurrency investing. What are those changes? Well, what if there was already a way to invest in the market with tax advantages? Well, iTrust Capital makes that possible. iTrust Capital is a software platform that lets you invest in crypto using a self-directed IRA. That means with a traditional IRA, taxes are deferred, and with a Roth IRA, you won't have to pay taxes on your crypto gains, just like a retirement account. On top of that, the crypto market never closes. You can buy or sell 24/7 in case you stay up late. iTrust Capital makes investing easy, safe, and accessible. You don't have to be an expert. Their website has easy-to-understand articles, videos, and if you ever need help, you can speak with an actual person in the United States because the whole thing is based in the United States, the whole company. So if you're looking to add crypto to your retirement portfolio, sign up today at itrustcapital.com/Tucker and use a promo code Tucker for a $100 funding bonus.
Yes, in terms of the farm murders, we've seen that statistically, that in communities areas or communities where people are well organized, where they have radios, where they drive patrols, where they are trained, there's a decrease in farm murders. You can clearly see that. Actually, in the last few years, the farm murder numbers have come down a bit, and it's not because the incitement has gotten better. It's not because the police is more efficient. It's because local communities have become much more involved with their own safety. And so that's certainly one of the most important building blocks of the solution.
So what, now that the president, I'm using air quotes again around president, I mean, the whole system is fake, obviously. It doesn't affect justice. It doesn't improve the lives of its citizens. It's in no sense illegitimate government. And by the way, it's not the only illegitimate government in the world. But anyway, what happens when the government tries to put this law into effect, to try to act on it? You know, the government shows up at your house, says, you can't, you've lived in the same plot for 100 years. You can't have it because you're white. We're taking it. Like, do people comply?
No, people won't comply. No, that's partly why I told this story at the beginning, is the Afrikaner people and the farmers are very stubborn. This, in Afrikaans, we say hardkoppig or hard-headed. So this idea...
Well, farmers, you have to be stubborn to be a farmer in the first place.
Yes, and especially a farmer in South Africa.
Why aren't you in private equity? I mean, It's easier.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So it's a common trope among farmers to say that I would rather die on my farm than to hand it over to the government. And so I think if they really try to act on it, which they haven't tried. There are land invasions in South Africa, but it's not so much the government. It's mobs and gangs and so forth invading people's land. But if they really try to act on these attempts at expropriation, there's going to be a massive backlash. And there's no doubt. So what they would say is, this is actually what the government says, that we need to do what happened in Zimbabwe, but without violence. But that's how they would argue it. And
they actually say we need to do what happened in Zimbabwe?
Yeah. But this time without violence.
That's one of the worst crimes of my lifetime.
Yeah, well, they say it publicly. Yeah, you can find it online. And so the argument is, but we're going to do it a bit better. We're going to do it without violence. But what that means is we're going to do what happened in Zimbabwe and you are not going to resist. That's what it means. But obviously people will resist when they try to do that. There's no doubt about it. But I do think the government is very incompetent. They have these very radical ideas. I don't know if they have the competency to actually go through with these
That's
ideas.
the upside. I lived in Washington, D.C. almost my whole life. And that was absolutely true there. The local government make all these threatening noises, do this, do that, do the other thing. It's against the law to do this, whatever. And you just kind of people just ignored it. And
so there are some business organizations in South Africa who now use the term maximum appropriate non-compliance. That's what they encourage private companies to do. So it's a form of civil disobedience. It's with all these BEE, these black empowerment laws. To just say, we're just not going to comply.
I know someone who had a thriving business he built himself in South Africa, and the government showed up and said, you're handing half your business to your new partner who didn't do anything, just show up and collect the money. And it's just they stole half his business. Because it's all theft. I mean, it doesn't... I noticed that black South Africans haven't gotten richer in the last 30 years.
No. And the government owns the land, most of the land that they expropriate. They don't give it to people. It goes to the government.
So what if you were to say, no, how about no? You have no legitimacy and you haven't been here any longer than I've been here. And you have, and I have guns too. So I'm not participating. How's that?
Yeah. Well, civil disobedience can be a wonderful thing. And we've had some examples of successful civil disobedience campaigns in South Africa where the government had they call it the e-toll system. It's like a big tax system on the highways it's an electronic tax toll system but people just by the thousands, tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands just refused to comply, to get the tags and so forth. And eventually they had to stop it because even though it was law, people just didn't do it.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. We hope you'll subscribe to it. And by the way, you can hit the little bell on there and get notifications every time we produce a video. We hope you'll do that also.